Alright, Geordie Prepper here. Welcome to another Prepper News broadcast. We've got, firstly, Hamas. The area of Khan Younis, they're saying that the Israeli army has dismantled Hamas's brigade there. So if we look at the map, we can see Khan Younis here. The Israelis started their operations way up in the north here. I mean, I say way up, I mean it is... Gaza's very, very tiny really, but... They started up in the north, moved through Gaza City, just going methodically south. They've reached this area now, Khan Younis. They're saying that Hamas is dismantled there now. Most of the entire population of Gaza is now stuck in this southern area up against the Egyptian border. And most of them are concentrated in Rafah. Before they launched the war in October 7th, Hamas had an estimated 30,000 members. The fighting force has now been 2/3 depleted. 10,000 have been eliminated, and another 10,000 are wounded and can't return to the battlefield. And obviously, with the advance of the Israeli military, they're not just running out of people, but they're running out of places to go. Al Jazeera is saying that they're going to plan the ground attack on Rafah, and that it is the last refuge for Gaza's displaced. It is designated as a safe zone, but the military plans to expand its ground assault into Rafah. It's spread fear amongst the displaced and concerns from global aid organisations. It's the last place designated as a safe zone by the Israeli army in Gaza, which comes under threat now because they've basically stated that they're going to go into that area now. Most of Gaza's population is in Rafah. If the tanks storm in, it will be a massacre like never before during the war. And the people there are lacking basic things like water, toilets. They're completely unprepared for winter, and they've got no blankets or suitable clothing, which increases the likelihood of people there getting more sick. Some news for tourists when they're going abroad. It seems Spain has had 1,000 days of drought. If you're planning a holiday over there, basically the swimming pools are closed because there's no water to keep them filled. Water restrictions amid a historic drought have shrunk reservoirs to record lows. I mean, that's crazy, that. 1,000 days of drought. And we were talking about in a previous video, Turkey was basically holding out on Sweden's NATO membership, or at least I suspected that they were holding out. And it was down to this F-16s that they wanted to purchase from the United States. And lo and behold, they recently ratified Sweden's NATO membership. And then the USA has approved days later the sale of 40 F-16s to Turkey. So it seems like the two were linked. It seems like Turkey kind of had the United States over a barrel because Turkey knows what's coming. The United States obviously knows what's coming. United States and other allies, they want everybody that they can get on board, on their side, on board. And it seems that Sweden's NATO membership was obviously key to that. So Turkey's going to get its 40 new F-16s and it's going to get its upgrades to 79 of its jets in its existing fleet. So it definitely looks like the two have been linked and it looks like Turkey's got what it wanted. And also, looking into this, it seems Canada had a ban on military exports, and that's also, in turn, been lifted. I think, like I said, basically, they're just cementing the relationships. They're just getting all the paperwork basically put away. Just dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and they all know what time it is. They all know what's coming. It's just they're getting these little last minute things done and out the way before it actually kicks off. And the last article we're looking at is talking about Iran and its current drills that it's doing. Now, Iran obviously doesn't have the same naval capabilities as the United States, but it keeps building these replica US ships, mostly in the form of aircraft carriers and other larger vessels that it has. And it's really quite significant that they're doing these drills because they obviously know that the United States and its allies are watching them while they're doing these drills, and they're obviously doing it as a deterrent. And the resources that they're putting into building these ships is really quite significant, and they keep producing them. So they have quite a capability to put resources into this project, into these drills. As the United States and other people are watching, they're thinking, we could actually lose some ships if we do go into a full-on conflict with Iran. So it's obviously psychological in purpose, as well as to actually practice attacking ships as well, and the systems that they're going to use to do so. Tensions between Tehran and Washington have been building up for years now. Obviously, we had these attacks on United States base, and military personnel lost their lives, unfortunately. United States really hasn't responded to that yet, and if they respond in kind or with any sort of reasonable force, then that's obviously, they know that if they do it with such significant force back, that it's going to back Iran into a corner. And like any animal backed into a corner, if you're attacking it, it simply leaves it with no other choice than to bare its teeth and fight back with everything it's got. It's kind of like we're waiting with bated breath just to see what they do. Because as soon as they do it, then I think that's going to basically cement the direction of conflict in the Middle East. It's either going to go towards more conflict, or the current conflicts just going to keep going, and then they're just going to fizzle out. And then they might just say, we're just going to play the waiting game. Let all the current conflicts just end. I think it really hinges on what happens in Gaza, really, as well. How is that going to end? How's that sequence of events going to come to a conclusion? How's that going to carry the course of the Middle Eastern conflicts at the minute as well? So they're both kind of intertwined. The Israeli action and the United States actions, you can't separate them, and they both know that. I'm sure that they do. We'll just have to see, and we'll just have to be prepared for whichever way it goes. That's the end of today's Prepper News. Thanks very much for watching. Be safe, be prepared, and I'll see you in the next broadcast. This has been Geordie Prepper, signing out.